Okay, welcome to Draw Process. I'm Ike, and this is page 4 of my comic for Sun and Sword number 3. Here's the finished page that you'll see me time-lapse draw today. I penciled all the comic at once, and then I went back and inked each page. And at this point, it's been maybe 4 months since, 4.5 months or something since I inked this page. And now I'm going to go through and make all the videos where I do the voiceover and reflect on it. And I'll try to complete those over the next few months and release them one per week. So it's a little different than in the past where I would draw the page that week, pencil and ink that page that week, and then do the voiceover the same week. I'm trying a different process this time. But it's still pretty fresh. At this point, I haven't started the next issue. I've been beginning the writing process just a bit. But that's nice. It'll be nice if I can complete all of these voiceovers before I start drawing the next issue, so that I can reflect more immediately about this experience without having to talk about a different experience, the next book, which will be the next videos that I make. So I might record 2 or 3 of these or more per week. The voiceovers here. So this will be a little bit different. I think it'll still be beneficial, maybe better. We'll see. Okay, so Sword runs up. He chops the python in half. The python falls to the ground. The boys that are the young men that they're saving. We see them helping each other and gathering themselves while our heroes gather themselves, and they're getting ready to interact. And that'll be what happens on the next page. So that's the story of the page. I think I want to say a bit about the acting. On the last panel of the last page, Sword was lunging and he had his sword halfway drawn, and now I'm trying to capture that he's in the middle of running and has his sword held back ready to strike, to swing. I'm trying to give little breadcrumbs that the reader can connect in order to animate the scene. So he wasn't only running, he's also starting to pull out his sword on the last page. And some of this also relates to good acting. It's the acting of the characters. That's our job too, as the comic artist. We're acting for the characters. Do they seem stiff? Do they seem like they're not alive, not active? So I try to capture, when it comes to the physical presence, are they slouched? Are they standing up really nice and straight? I don't just draw a figure, just a action figure. I'm trying to capture the acting, the feeling of the person, and what they're doing. So, he's running and swinging his sword. It's a little more alive than just showing a sword in the air, a sword hitting a tree, or even, a generic swing of the sword, a generic holding the sword up. You can kind of tell that his stance, it's like he's running towards the tree when he's preparing this swing. It's not just a generic swing of a sword. So that's the acting, and it brings it more to life, and that also helps people animate it in their mind, because it feels alive. Like, you get more of a sense of the time and space of it. Okay. You'll notice that I don't have thumbnails, and this is my thumbnail. It's my plan. You'll see that I first, sometimes I change things a bit. Like, I was first putting this guy's head more up, and I thought, no, let's lower his head more. Let's adjust this. And sometimes I might erase a panel and start over with a new camera angle, even just change a lot. Um, so yeah, that's all fine. So what can I talk about today? I went back and watched the first episode of Draw Process, where I drew the first page of First Sun and Sword, and I can see that the art's changed and the way I talk about things has changed. But in some ways, it's the same. It's really kind of fun to look back after 3 years and see. Um, but one thing I noticed was I was doing pages at first in like 2 hours. I think it was going pretty quickly, and now it's slower. It's back to more my typical length of time, which is 2.5 to 4 hours per page. Um, so the style being so simple, I was going for simple and easy to draw quickly, um, and now I've been moving towards more expressive. Um, I guess I have some things to say about that. But I think eventually I can come full circle back to simple and quick. For example, right now, because I'm introducing ink wash along with my uh, dipping pen and ink, uh, I, I'm kind of new at it, and so I'm putting a lot more lines than I probably need to, because I could let the ink wash uh, cover the gaps. Kind of serve more of the function of communicating form and objects and stuff like leaves. They could just be brush strokes of ink wash rather than lines that I don't have to hatch everything in to create form and depth. I can let the gray of the ink wash separate things. So there's going to be ways that I can um, get faster and simpler without going back to like an older art style. One thing that I think happened also is even within the first episode, the first comic of First Sun and Sword, Crocodile City, um, I started off having done some work in a sketchbook and trying to envision how this book could look. And I was thinking more like a designer. I was thinking the design of the way the drawings would look, the style. Um, but once I started drawing the book, uh, it and doing it regularly, the consistency I'm sure helps. Uh, I start to experience a flow state, you could say, but I start to see the comic playing out like a movie in my head. Like I'm in the story. I can feel the characters. I'm not just trying to draw a figure. I'm drawing this person doing this thing that feels very real to me. It does help when you stick with the same characters for a long time. Now that I'm drawing one comic with the same characters, I'm experiencing more of this state. In the past, when I've done like the sci-fi one shots, each time I'm kind of coming up with a new design. And even while making it, I would resist letting the style change, like, because I'm like, okay, I got to stick. It's only 22 pages. I'll just stick with the style. But I'm realizing what I was resisting was going from this design focus to letting the movie come to life and conveying it. And I'm realizing that's what I really value. That's what I really want to be doing, is letting the movie come to life. I enjoy it. Um, Even if it takes a little longer, I enjoy it. So I'm I'm realizing that, and I want to continue to draw it as I see it, and that's why the style changed. I went from a more design approach to letting drawing in a way that's more authentic. Really, it's more like the way I naturally draw, or just how the movie comes to me and how I would convey it naturally. So if you want to get to a more authentic style, I would say this would be a way of doing it, is draw a comic until it get maybe 20 pages in, it'll start to feel real to you and come to life, and you won't be able to sustain the act, or you won't want, part of you won't want to. Maybe, at least maybe for me, that's how my imagination works. When I was a kid, I would sit and sometimes for hours play action figures, and alone is typically how I would do it, but I was actually pretty good at doing it with my older brother. But I would sit alone and I would pick out, okay, maybe it's Captain America and a G.I. Joe and Wolverine. Who's it going to be today? But I'd pick some characters, and I would be making up a movie, and I would just hold the characters and start to play with them a bit and kind of see what stories coming out of this, and they would be elaborate rescue missions and love stories and rivalries and like becoming friends, becoming enemies, and then making up, like all kinds of stuff. And I would just be really in it. And as you can see, I grew up to do the same thing. This is what I'm doing. These are the characters, and I'm just letting the story come to me and playing it out. When it comes to me, I don't think I'm ever going to be happy with just writing a story as a written script. I think I have to write some things, but even then I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to use the words in a different way, not focusing on the writing, but just little snippets of like images of scenes. I'm just trying to let the action figures play. And then when I pencil, and if I keep it loose, I can go through and pencil, a whole book and do it pretty quickly. And that's me with my action figures. That's really playing out the movie. And that's when I can actually know if it's good and that if I'm doing the right thing. I can't sense it correctly from a written script. And even if I could, there's something you can do when you go from visuals rather than written for a story that you wouldn't have pulled off otherwise. So, but that's fun. Not only did I draw a lot as a kid, but I would be creative in this way, telling these stories, and I found a way to grow up and keep doing that. And this is fun because I get something, to show for it, to share with other people. Okay. I was just thinking sometimes I don't ink the background. I'll start with the foreground figures, and you'll see that in this panel. And then I come in and add the background of the trees and stuff. And sometimes they function more like a texture. They're just wallpaper. Okay. What else can I say? Yeah, one thing was by penciling all the pages at once, not only, which happened over maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks, it was so much fun that I found myself wanting to do it more often. So I was putting more time in than I otherwise would because I was enjoying it so much, and I got it done so quickly. And my drawings were getting better. I think part of it is I'm letting go, and letting the movie play out and just drawing more authentically. But also just the drawing skill was getting better because I was doing so many figures that I noticed like the proportions and like the details with different bone and muscle structure was getting better as the book went on. And I was like, oh, like this is great too. So there's some lesson there about when you're really engaged in the letting the story play out. When you're really having fun, you can spend a lot of energy, and you don't feel drained at the end. You feel good, and yeah, you're learning and doing great things. So that's what I'm trying to do with everything. Now that I'm doing ink wash and black and white instead of going in and coloring digitally, this is to increase my enjoyment. Um, I'm going to try to put out 2 pages a year, and I think that I can do that. That's drawing maybe 2 pages a week. That's maybe 6 hours per week. Um, but I'm going to enjoy it. It's just to be enjoyed. And the more I focus on this, the more I think I'll continue to like be learning and growing. Um, Motivation and energy and stuff, it's not limited the way we think it is. It's kind of unlimited when you tap into it. Um, there's definitely been times when I was operating more out of pressure. I'm trying, right? I'm trying to accomplish something. I'm trying to make myself do something. I feel that I should do something instead of wanting to do something, really enjoying, letting myself be excited, uh, not trying to control it and get a certain result, but be enjoying the interaction with it. Um, Excited to see what will happen, what's possible. And that's a life lesson in general. You don't want to manage and control your relationships, for example. You want to enjoy them. And if you enjoy them and you find out who that person is that you're with, if there are problems, they're gonna get solved a lot better. So um, it's kind of like a life lesson in general, but I'm definitely moving that direction, and it's been really, really great. I feel a little under the weather today, a little cold, but generally I've been feeling very good and healthier than ever. And I know that it's because of this mental or spiritual, whatever you want to call it, change that I'm going through, to really be enjoying things and letting go of control uh, and um, and ego. I more than ever, I don't care or worry what people think about my books. I'm making them for me, like really am, like playing with the action figures. I don't need anything from it. If I, even if money got tight and I needed to get like another job, and then I get half as much time to work on this, okay, I'll I'll just have to enjoy it that much more, and give up things I don't, that I think I need, that I want to control. So yeah, I plan on just keeping at this. Uh, it's nice. Yeah, the one way of putting it might be the pursuit of truth. Getting my ego out of the way. I want to love what's good, love the truth, and not just my ego, what I can get out of things. Uh, and I feel like that's the position that allows you to, be the practice of your art. Engage in a practice where you're not trying, you're not doing it because you're trying to get something out of it. You're truly committed to it, and you're open to like seeing your flaws. You're open to learning. You're um, enjoying, open to enjoyment. Um, yeah, even just enjoyment. It's hard to enjoy it if you feel that you aren't good enough or something. If you're judging what you're doing and thinking, I got to get better at this, well, you're not enjoying it. So Yeah, I've been. I think that's important. An important part of to grow quickly, to build your practice. Um, you want to be paying attention to it with open eyes, um, and to do that, you have to let go. Here's the finished page. You'll see the way that I used lines to kind of show light coming through the trees. I'm putting some shadow, some ink wash up there to imply like foliage, but then kind of leaving it open. So there's a management of like the positive and negative space, trying to separate layers by adding more gray and certain areas. But it helps separate. If I just left it as the ink lines, things would be not as clear. The grayscaling of the ink wash helps separate things. And there's the cover to the book. It's available now in print and in PDF. And you can also read it as a webcomic, but those pages are going to come out weekly along with the videos. So over the next, I guess, 40 more weeks, you'll see all of that come together. So I hope you can pay attention to your practice and be looking for how to enjoy it, how to let go. And I'll see you next week.